Hello, everything going okay? Everything's running well? God, I hope so. I'm sorry for not I'm sorry for not showing up yesterday. I had as I said on my Twitter, I had dinner with family that I had to show up for. And it went on for 3 till 5 or 3 till 8, so I didn't and plus the drive home, so I didn't have a lot of free time yesterday. But we are here, and I have a lot I want to talk about. Not as much as I hoped for, but we've had a lot going on, mostly anime related, with the Crunchyroll and manga nonsense. We also seem to have something seems to be going on with Moist Critical, and I have a couple of fun things to talk about. So hopefully this will be entertaining. Whew, it's been anxiety is running high. Got a lot to do. Also, I am still working on that VTuber Legend review video. That we're almost done that. I just need to do recording and then video editing, and then we're all good to go on that. We should expect that done by Wednesday or Thursday at the very least. Because tomorrow is my mother's birthday and I forgot. Okay, let's start with something fun. How about what your favorite Uma says about you, part 1.
Alright, today we're finding out what your favorite Uma says about you.
Hey, he has a voice like mine. That makes me sad.
Don't take this too seriously, it's all jokes, all love, unless your favorite Uma is nice nature, then yeah, you're the problem. Gold Ship. You're not here to win, you're just here for the memes. Chaos is your second nature, and you laugh when she throws games.
Hey, Poppy, you hear that? There's your favorite Uma.
Simply Rudolph. You think you're always the smartest person in the room, which you probably are, until RNG punches you in the face. Or you just like her cape. Haru Urara. You're
Alright.
wholesome, or a masochist. No in-betweens. You main Haru Urara because you don't care about winning.
That's not true. I guarantee you a lot of people play Haru Urara because they want to make her win. They want to give her the win she never got in real life, which is why I'm going to be playing her. There's something at least.
You just want to see others happy. Rest in peace, Haru Urara. Mejuro McQueen. You're elegant, refined, and broke, just like her. Taiki Shuttle. I know why you picked Taiki Shuttle. You picked her for the fan service.
Yep.
I can see it in your eyes, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Rice Shower. You shed a tear during her story. You thrive on pain and tragedy arcs, or you're just the edgy kid of the fandom.
Oh. Yep, I do. I shed a tear for her. And those are the arcs where I find myself the most satisfying, I guess. And I also do live through all of that kind of crap too. And yeah, I kind of am the edgy kid of the fandom. Even though I'm not involved with it in any way, I am kind of like that.
I was
Intentionally or
Scarlet.
Otherwise.
You're competitive, but only when it's convenient. Tamamo Cross.
Okay.
You would rather work alone than with a group. You're stubborn. If you fail 99 times, then you'll go for 100.
Hey, Poppy, you hear that?
Kita-san Black. You main her because you like winning. There's no shame in that. Augury Cap.
Okay,
Your
here
food-
we go. Seriously, Poppy. Yep, okay, Poppy. Now, this one really is your favorite. We've gotten the other two that you're obsessed with. Now we're up to the one you're really unhealthily obsessed with.
Foodie. Every time you see her, you get hungry. Twin Turbo.
That
You
doesn't sound
accidentally
like
succeed. And everybody hates you for it.
Twin Turbo is
Mihana
precious.
Bourbon.
She's great.
You treat Uma Musume like it's an exam. Respect, but also chill. Vodka.
Now that sounds like that sounds like Poppy.
You think you're cooler than you actually are. Narita Taishin.
Me.
You say leave me alone, but secretly want attention.
Used to be me.
TM Opera O. You've got God complex.
Yeah.
You mean her to feel superior.
I do not.
Air Groove. You want elegance, class, and control. And you're probably too serious for this game. Seiyin Sky.
Hey, she's cool.
You like outsmarting people.
I do.
Or at least pretending you do.
Oh, so true. Okay.
Biwa Hayahide. You main her because you like reading walls of text.
Hey, we found the Hunter x Hunter fans. If you want to find a Hunter x Hunter fan, find somebody who's a fan of her.
Tishi Amazon. You like strength, power, and probably a wrestling fan.
I am not.
El Condor Pasa. You have way too much energy for no reason.
My sister.
Silent Suzuka. You like peace and quiet.
I do. I do like peace and quiet. I love being left alone. It's great. Except when I'm left alone with my thoughts, then I'm very sad.
But you'll still speedrun everything. Corinne Chan. You like idols, pink, and sugar. Lots of sugar. Agnes Tachyon.
Ooh, she's cool.
You've definitely tried a curse build just to test the data and then blamed RNG when it failed. Matikane Fukukitaru. You live for chaos RNG. You're basically a gacha addict inside a gacha game. Special Week.
That's well spoken.
You've got golden retriever energy. Loyal, cheerful, but a little bit clueless. Narita Bryan. You've got lone wolf syndrome. And you think you're dark and mysterious. You think. Grass Wonder.
Oh.
You're chill, but also kinda smug. You're a passive-aggressive person.
Yeah, I am. I'm passive aggressive. Or at least I can be. Working on it.
Smart Falcon.
Never heard of
You
her.
probably spend
Oh, wait,
more
never
time
mind. I've
picking
definitely heard
background
of her.
music than training. Nice nature. You love salt, not just on your fries, but from your enemies. Super Creek. You crave comfort so badly, you'd probably pay DLC just to get tucked in bed.
I actually reviewed her when I played her campaign. I sent a message to Poppy about it, describing how I felt about the whole thing very eloquently. Here we go. So I sent a series of screenshots from her story to him, along with the caption, "I call this collection." We could all see what her target demographic was. I just didn't realize that I was part of that demographic. Yeah. She is precious is one way to put it. That's also another way to put it.
Maruzensky. You're either a cornered or you just like living fast and crushing harder. Tokai Teo. Teo mains are the type to scream never give up while losing 10 runs in a row. Winning ticket. You probably believe friendship really can solve everything.
I mean, yeah, friends and connections can solve a lot of problems in this world.
Even your terrible pulls.
Maybe not that.
Atikane Tannhauser.
Mambo, mambo, omatsuri mambo, washai mambo, omatsuri mambo, tabu tabu, yura yura, omatsuri mambo.
Very precious. I do not have her, so I have not been able to play a run as her yet.
What your favorite Uma says about you.
Okay, let's
Part
see what part
2.
two is.
You guys seem to really like the first part, so here we go again with another. This is all for fun and jokes, don't take it too seriously. With that, let's start the video.
君の愛はガツキュンとキュン走り出しキュンとキュンかけてゆくよこんな想いは初めて
Or Fevray.
Who?
You act like you're above everyone, and you will do anything to achieve your goal, even if it means that you have to take from someone, or you just think that she's cool. Still in love. You're crazy.
Who?
You're also the hopeless romantic of the fandom. You definitely cried at least once during her training story.
Oh wait, he's talking about the in-game story. Okay.
Satono Diamond. You're soft, like marshmallow soft, but in a good way. You protect her like she's your child. Mejiro Dober. If you're a girl, you feel tense towards men. And if you're a man, you're one of those dudes who believe that you can fix her. Fine Motion.
Sounds right.
You got main character energy. You're basically the embodiment of confidence and ambition. Yukino Bijin. You notice background character nobody else remembers. You always root for the underdog and gives love to the overlooked. Air Shakur. You like data collecting and doing calculated risks. You never rely on chances, which is ironic because you play a gacha game. Fuji Kiseki.
That's one way to put it.
You're a leader. You admire charm and composure. You are the representation of grace under
Or, and hear me out, they just like the boob window.
pressure. Agnes Digital.
Finally! Somebody mentions Agnes Digital. Finally! Some respect on my girl.
You admire obsession, devotion, and commitment. Flawed but sincere. Manhattan
Okay?
Cafe. You want people to think that you're mysterious. But really, you're just sleep deprived.
I am.
Mejiro Ryan. You admire determination and quiet strength. Asian Flash. You probably alphabetize your spice rack because you're a neat freak. Sweep Tosho. You have a very active imagination.
Oh, that's the girl.
Also, you're kinda childish. Sakura Bakushin O. You're desperate and you found your saving grace. Gentle Donna.
The familiarity with these characters is completely random.
You've got that perfectionist energy. You probably rage if your Uma loses. I mean chill, it's just a game. Marvelous Sunday. You value optimism and positivity. And you smile whenever you see Marvelous smiling. Meishu Doto. You see yourself in her anxious but lovable personality. Happy Meek. You like characters who barely talk because you project
Oh, this
on
is gonna
them.
be mean.
Ikuno Dik.
Okay, never mind. He cut it off there, but no, that is one way to put it. Again, I always thought I would have put it differently. Like you always like the character that never got enough screen time,
You're calm and collected,
without realizing that their lack of screen time is what makes them so precious.
but also you are very strict and fierce. Stay Gold. You have a carefree attitude and you also like to
Literally
travel
never
a
seen this
lot.
character before.
Gold City. You like divas, drama, and fashion runways. You value charisma and charm over anything.
Okay, well that's one way to put it. Let me pull up. Let me high rise shower. Let me go back to watch later. Okay, so yeah, we covered that one. It was a nice little warm up. Let's see what's going on with Moist Critical.
Number ones. There's a new clown that we need to make fun of, point the finger and laugh. And of course it has to do with Twitch. I don't know what it is with that platform. Seriously. We got critical on her. Let's go.
Nina Lynn has quickly become
Let's go, long.
Oh, it's Nina Lynn drama. No, not interested. Thank you. Really, really, really not interested.
So what's this? Crunchyroll is officially ending their free ad-supported streaming service on December 31st, 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, or I'm not sure why you guys are. This is Crunchyroll. They've done so much bullshit, I can't even name it all. And I have a 612-page document of bullshit as my debut stream. I mean, what else is there to say? Crunchyroll has lost the sauce. They've forgotten their roots. They've abandoned the people who made them who they are today. They hate their customers. They're trying so hard to become the Disney of anime, the Amazon of anime. They want to. I mean, if I had more energy and if I wasn't so fucking tired, I could probably go on quite a long time about this. I probably could do at least 14 minutes alone, wording all the different ways in which Crunchyroll has succumbed to corporate brain rot. In fact, let's see if we can find one here that perfectly sums it up. Discrimination is A-okay. That works for them. Forced modernization of logos. Have they changed their logo? Upward mobility. Company rules are unchangeable. No. Wait, maybe? Not close enough. Let's see. Pretending to care is more important than caring. That definitely applies to them, but... Let's see. There's the best part of the stream. Enough is never enough. You know what? That's a good way of putting it. They are victim to a lot of different forms of corporate brain rot, but we'll go with number 21. Enough is never enough. They are successful, but they are so hell-bent on becoming more successful, which is fine. Wanting more money, wanting more influence, wanting bigger audience, that's perfectly okay. That's what running a business is for. They don't seem to understand how you're supposed to do that. What they keep looking for is the shortcut, which actually makes me think short-term profits are more important, but no, not quite. Because they are looking for long-term control. They're just doing it in the most obnoxious way possible. Maybe, no. I remember which one it is now. Public image is for sale. Number 1 on the list. Oh, no, my bad. Number 2 on the list. Public image is for sale. Now, this isn't a high-ranking level of brain rot, but it is a bad one. Because it means that it's taken root. They are, sooner or later, if they don't learn from their mistakes, they will start to succumb to the worst tiers of corporate brain rot. High, very high, terminal, and so on. They are not going to be... This is not going to be the end of the shit that they pull. This is just the beginning. Before they took it out on their employees and their voice actors, now they're going to be taking it out on the customers, which is when it is going to start backfiring.
Service allowed people without a subscription to watch certain anime for free on Crunchyroll with ads. Well, I called it, I knew it, and I think everybody honestly kind of saw this eventually happening, but here we finally are.
Actually, I did not see this happening. I actually saw the exact opposite happening. I thought they were still going to have the free ad-supported tiers, but I thought they were going to make them so aggressive to try and force people into the ad-related tier, or the paid tiers, where they were still going to be running ads on them, but less egregiously. And then they're going to have an ultimate platinum tier, where all ads would go away completely. You know, the Netflix approach. Or at least the way they tried to do it. Or they could do the Amazon approach too, which is even worse.
This is the consequences for Crunchyroll, or in this case, Sony, having a monopoly on anime in the West. Yes, they have some competition like HIDIVE, Amazon, and Netflix to an extent, but overall, it really is a Crunchyroll-dominated.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand how a monopoly works nowadays. Because frankly, everything has been monopolized now. There is so much control. These companies aren't fighting each other anymore. They aren't. They're happily coexisting with their competition so that they can bleed you all, so that they can all share in bleeding you dry. They have long since given up on trying to become a monopoly, at least in the most conventional terms. They don't want to crush their competition because as long as their competition exists, the government can't touch them and can't prevent them from becoming a monopoly. Look at Netflix, for example. They're trying to buy out Warner Brothers and HBO, which is so fucking much of the market. How the fuck can is Netflix money laundering? I genuinely need to know, how the fuck do they have that much money? How do they have billions of dollars to throw away on buying Warner Brothers? How are they buying Warner Brothers? I'm baffled by it. But regardless, back to the monopoly talk. They need their competitors alive so that they can keep monopolizing different parts of the industry. As long as they technically have competition, they're technically not a monopoly. And as long as that stands, well, they're untouchable, or at least as untouchable as they want to be, or as they can be. Like, well, what's a good example? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I got caught in a loop and I have a headache. Sorry. I'm rambling too much. Let's keep going.
Space. When it comes to very overwhelming popular series and what becomes trending or talked about in the West, usually the anime is on Crunchyroll to some degree. And with Sony buying out basically a lot of different competitors, for instance, buying Crunchyroll, buying Funimation, buying Right Stuff, and probably setting their sights eventually on Viz Media and maybe even kind of putting High Dive out of business, it's just going to get more and more apparent.
No, they're actually, Crunchyroll might. They might actually put High Dive out of business. Not because they might not realize the loophole that everybody else has been exploiting all these years. Coke and Pepsi, Warner Brothers, and I don't fucking know, Paramount maybe? Disney and Amazon, Google and Facebook, so on and so forth. Right. I remember where I was going now. The greatest example of collusion to being a monopoly would be the gas price wars. Way back in the day, the gas prices used to be astronomically low because they were all trying to outbid each other. They were all competing in a monopoly or competing to become the monopoly. But then they realized that they were losing so much money doing that, to the point that they got together and formed a pact saying that they would always keep their prices within the same level range of each other. And that's how that fucking worked. That's why gas prices keep going up and up and up and up and up and never down. That's why they never try to compete with each other, because they realize it's far better to exist as a pseudo monopoly, kind of like a mob, not a mob, but a council. What's the mafia thing when there's like a whole bunch of gangs working together and coexisting to not start a war with each other because they make more money just coexisting, and then you know what I mean. Yeah, that's what they went for.
That Crunchyroll has a monopoly over anime, and they are so entwined with even production of some anime in Japan that it's most likely causing even a lot of series to get censored upon the production stage of just the initial stage of creation. But before we go into that topic,
of course they are. Of course. Calm down. Calm down.
The point of the matter is we need to talk about what this is, what this means, is it good, is it bad, what does this mean for the future, and how does this affect those that don't even use Crunchyroll. So first off, this entire move from Crunchyroll is more or less a systematic effect of the monopoly that they have, because at
Yes.
this point, Crunchyroll doesn't really have any competition. Like,
Any meaningful competition. Yes. I am so sick of the idea that just because there is a competitor means that they're not a monopoly. Like, would you say that, I don't know, Coke isn't a monopoly because Arizona iced tea exists? Or Monster Energy exists? Of course not. Of course it has competition, and we need to stop pretending that just because there is competition of sorts, that means that they're competing with each other. They're not. They've been colluding with each other and coexisting peacefully to avoid being subject to monopoly laws. That way they can keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and as long as there's another fish of the same or relatively the same size, there you go. We're not a monopoly, guys. We haven't lowered prices in 30 years. Or ever even remotely tried to compete with them in terms of pricing, but we're not a monopoly.
like I already pointed out, High Dive is one of their main direct competitors, and they're not doing so hot. They're just
Yeah, no, and the other idea of just because another company exists also doesn't make it a monopoly. Like, so one person controls 80% of the market space. Okay, we'll be a little more generous. 65% of the market space, and the rest is controlled by various smaller companies, of which there's maybe one that has 20%. That's still a monopoly. That is an overwhelming monopoly right there. If you can't even name the other competition, they have succeeded at becoming a monopoly. And they're behaving like one.
to be completely honest. They have a lot of their series being taken away from them and being bought and licensed by Crunchyroll now. I believe Oshinoko is getting taken away from High Dive, which is a pretty...
I mean, yeah, that sucks. Why can't it be on both? Both is good.
big deal, because that's like one of the bigger series that they've gotten in the last few years besides Gushing Over Magical Girls.
Gushing Over Magical Girls, that was fucking amazing. I love that. That might be my favorite parody anime I've ever seen. No, I have not seen Gintama. But no, Gushing Over Magical Girls was fucking hilarious. Far funnier than anybody expected it to be that I've ever talked to about it.
But the point is that Crunchyroll removing this feature is eventually going to probably cause prices to rise and get exponentially higher. Like, let's give a good example of this. Think of Netflix. Think of Amazon. You know, a lot of different subscription services. I believe Disney does it as well. But they start raising prices. They say they need to raise subscription prices by $5 or $10. And eventually, as it gets astronomically high, they offer you a cheap deal for a lower cost, but you have to watch ads with the said episodes or movies.
Yes, that is another problem. And that would fall under, actually, I've been developing some new corporate brain rot symptoms. So let's start with the first ever release, the first ever teaser for the new corporate brain rot set, number 52. Advertising as a business model instead of a product. Because you guys have free competition all over the world. I once found a movie that had debuted in theaters just the day before, and I managed to find the entire thing online for free with just 40 minutes of searching. No ads. Perfect video. You guys have to compete with free, but you are so incapable of understanding that they're coming to you for convenience. They're coming to you for legality. They're coming to you because they want to support the shows that they enjoy, but they can't afford to buy the Blu-rays of every single one. Nor do they have the time to go looking for all that as well. But as soon as you start relying on aggressive advertising, you are becoming no better than the competition. Why would they pay you $30 a month? Or I'm being hyperbolic here, and watch ads, and have terrible user interface, and. Oh, and also just terrible supply products of your endless slop pipe or sludge pipe of original content nobody likes. Like literally less than 1% of the original content they make is enjoyable, much less watchable. Why would they go to that effort when I can go type in wcostream.tv and go watch any anime I want online for free at any point in time? I'll put it into chat for you guys. wcostream.tv. And actually, I find their product so helpful and so enjoyable. I'm subscribed to them. I pay them a little over $10 a month, and I get a range of tons of great features and no ads. Who would have thought? Reasonable pricing, good user interface. The search bar could use a little work, but it's a piracy website. What do you expect? Wow! It's not that fucking hard. Streaming, being a streaming platform for content or original content or rewatching content like Crunchyroll, literally is the one job where you should be resting on your laurels. It is the easiest job in the world. Have a good user interface, have interesting content, and don't have ads. Don't force people to watch ads. Don't try and force them to play your stupid video games, Netflix. Don't try to force them to buy. Don't tell them you have a show or a movie on your platform and then tell them, oh, actually, you have to have Crave, one of our platforms, so you can watch it on our platform. Just work. All you need to do is have the content, good interface, no ads. It's that easy. Rest on your laurels. Give up. You won!
And I feel like that's more or less what Crunchyroll is designing this for. It's a push to eventually have a subscription tier with ads being supported. And if you want to get rid of the ads, you're going to have to pay a higher subscription fee, which will give them justification to raise the prices even more. Because this is what effectively happens with a monopoly. If there is no competition, then these companies can more or less do whatever they want, gouge and get as much money out of a rock as they possibly can. And that's more or less what they're doing. They are now pushing forward, trying to make as much money as possible, cutting off free access to the site, and forcing people to pay a subscription. And I'm going to be honest here, you can quote me on this, clip this, whatever you want to do, but I see in the next year, maybe 2 years, Crunchyroll is going to add a paid plan that has ads associated with it. And it's
Number 52, advertising as a business model instead of a product. And he's right, they will be. Although I think it might come in, it's either going to be in the next year or the next 3 years. I don't think it's going to happen in 2 years. But he is in premise, he's right, is basically, yeah.
It's going to act like it's a deal because it's cheaper, but in reality, if you want to get rid of the ads, you're going to have to pay an even higher price than you are currently with their premium subscription. So, how does this actually affect everyone? Well, first of all, it affects those that have tried to legally watch.
Pandora's box. That's how this affects everyone. It is Pandora's box. They are opening the way. They're showing everybody, yeah, no, that we are going to be English language come to me. Oh yeah, they're just saying we're doing this one thing. We're doing this outrageously stupid thing. And then once their competition sees, oh shit, the company didn't die from this. The company is either still maintaining functionality or making even more money, depending on either or, then they are going to be realizing, then all the companies are going to realize, oh yeah, we can do that too. And then they're going to start doing that. And a whole lot of other things that I am too tired to go into the chain of cause and effect over live. Maybe I'll do a pre-written scripted video discussing it in more detail, but for now,
watch anime. I know this seems like kind of a crazy thing, but there is people that legitimately, despite all the issues with Crunchyroll, people will go to Crunchyroll to watch anime for one big reason: convenience. If a lot of your titles are there all at once, and it's there upon airing, for the most part.
wcostream.tv. I will repeat that again and again and again and again. wcostream.tv. They are so much Wait, what? Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. I just got a message. Okay. Okay. Hi, Poppy. How you doing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I will get around to clipping stream soon. I thought for a second Chibi was watching my stream. I got so fucking confused.
I mean, Crunchyroll has a lot of issues with delayed episodes or translations, subtitles not appearing, and all that. But when it does work, it is a little bit more convenient than a pirate site sometimes. That might spam ads your way. But now that Crunchyroll is doing this move, I feel like this is going to incentivize more people to pirate anime, watch more pirated versions of anime, because those that were using the site in a legal way to watch this will no longer use the site. So that alienates a big chunk that could be potential customers to just go to pirate sites, because if they're already watching it for free, they're not going to want to pay for the service, so they're just going to go to like any big major pirate site to watch what they want. So the main point here I'm trying to get at is that Crunchyroll is alienating a chunk of their potential customers. People that might eventually buy a subscription for their service is now being forced off their site to potentially go and watch a pirated version. That's kind of a stupid move on Crunchyroll's part, and it makes me believe that they're more or less moving away from that system because there's a lot more money to be made to just directly, paying for a subscription service, and I feel like they're going to double dip into this. Like I already mentioned, they're going to add a certain tier of subscription that's going to have ads associated with it. A bunch of other companies are already doing this, so it's most likely going to be the case, and it's going to once again reinstate that it's going to be inconvenient for people to use the site, because it's like, why would I want to be spammed by ads from an official service I'm paying for?
This guy should do a rap video of him ranting, talking about this. Like the Asmongold Well rap. Let's see if I can. I know I can't find that.
When I could just go to a pirate site, have some ad blocker, and just go watch it just fine. And it has the same quality or sometimes even better quality than what Crunchyroll has to offer. So the big point here is that this is a really questionable move by Crunchyroll, but it makes sense because of the monopoly. They can afford it. They can get away with this because no competition means you can nickel and dime people as much as you want.
He's right. That is again what's going on here. Crunchyroll controls, again, just spitballing 65% of the anime medium in the West. And they're so big that apparently they're even involved in the creation of anime over on the Japan side. That is too much power. Just because HIDIVE exists does not make it an equal competitor. Now, granted, I don't think just because, like using Steam for existence, Steam is a great product, is a great service. That's why it's so big and popular. But there's a difference. Steam is the PC version of all these things. All these games exist on various different platforms. Steam is just the one on here. And hell, all these other companies and websites have their own websites people can buy the games off of. There's countless competition that everybody tries to use. They have so much competition. But nobody likes their competition. That's why Steam is successful. It's good. It works. They rest on their laurels. And over more than a decade now, that's how it's been. They haven't abused anything. They haven't added new insane terms of service. They haven't added advertisements into their games. They haven't done anything that would signify them operating as a monopoly. Steam is quite literally just a website or an app that works. All it is. And that's why they're winning. But when you do this, that is when you're showing signs that you know you're a monopoly and you're operating like one. You're taking decisions that are harmful to the customer that nobody wants. You're making decisions that are changing how the platform works single-handedly. And other words that I'm
It's a really
boy.
sad day, honestly. This affects a lot of people, thousands upon thousands of people. I believe there is a lot of people that have used this service and watched legally through this for...
Does everybody remember when they removed the comments section from Crunchyroll? I remember. And I don't even use Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll used to have comment sections where fans of the TV show could talk to each other afterwards. But however, they had the idea that maybe it could if people were posting negative comments, then people wouldn't watch the show, and therefore they wouldn't get their cut from the advertising revenue. Or, well, that's actually the only fathomable reason I could think of that they turned that off. But I'm sure they came up with some stupid corporate brain rot reason for the paid subscribers too. Like, you could have just made it a subscribers only feature, people who give you monthly access, but they didn't. They just took it away altogether. So I don't know what was going on in their heads.
many, many years. And now that's going away, man, it's kind of a bad idea. I think that this is kind of anti-consumer and just pushes people way down into the darkness of the internet. But Crunchyroll is always a company that does a lot
Darkness of the internet, wcostream.tv. Check it out. It's amazing.
of bad things and stupid mistakes, etc. Now, there is one thing I do want to talk about, which is a rumor at this time, and there is no official source I can use to back this up. But I have talked with someone that is an insider, you know, in the industry that is associated with Crunchyroll to a degree, and I'm not going to name them because I want to keep them, you know, unnamed. I feel like it would be a very bad thing if their name got out there, but they told
It's called protecting your sources, and that's completely fine.
me that Crunchyroll is not doing so hot in Japan. And what I mean by that is that apparently Crunchyroll is...
Wow, Crunchyroll, the loathed business platform for how it treats both its content, aka its product, the anime, and also its employees and also its voice actors. They're not doing well in Japan. Japan doesn't like them. Geez, I wonder if that might have to do with anything with, you know, the westernization and their American politics. Again, I'm spitballing, but 9 out of 10 times, I'm right when I spitball.
looked upon as a black company, for instance, a company that is not really good in Japan's eyes. They don't want to...
Wait, they're a black... They've been... No fucking way. Has Crunchyroll been listed as a black company? Hold on. However, okay. Oh, fuck me. Okay, so they have not been listed, they have not been officially deemed a black company. However, they do have a long list of issues going on with them, according to the AI overview. Some of which I didn't even know about.
want to associate with them, with the bad blood they have with them, how they handle certain things or licensing. Apparently there is, you know, problems in Japan, and Crunchyroll even had a meeting about a month and a half, 2 months ago in Japan, like some of their executives, with people in Japan, with different studios and companies, etc. And Crunchyroll is kind of being, you know, kind of crapped on by a lot of people in Japan. They don't want...
I really, really want to be in that meeting. I want to see which animation studios have our back. I want to see what their complaints are. I want to know which ones are like, hey, I want to hear them out, and which ones are like, no, fuck you. That would be great. I want the minutes of that meeting so badly. I will put a bounty on those minutes as soon as I get fucking paid from my job, which has not fucking happened yet.
Like them. So I feel like maybe this move is to try to win back over maybe some corporations or companies in Japan, or in this case make more money, because maybe they're not doing as financially as well as we thought they did, because of...
No, I don't think Crunchyroll is doing as hard as they did financially either, but I also don't understand how free ad-supported streaming would make these companies more likely to do business with them. All you're doing is upsetting the anime fan base even more, which has to at least be in part why they're mad at you. Because if people are mad at Crunchyroll, then they go somewhere else, and that somewhere else is either High Dive or piracy. and if they pirate it, the studios don't get their cut.
Some of the stupid decisions that they have been making, it's a very likely possibility. And if that rumor is indeed the case, and it's not like, fake or whatever, then obviously I could see some dark days ahead for Crunchyroll, which is technically a good thing for a lot of people because, I would like to see a non-monopoly of anime in the West.
Unfortunately, I think Crunchyroll is a necessary evil. I hate Crunchyroll, and if another platform were to rise up, WCoStream.tv, and usurp them, I would be happy to have Crunchyroll go out of business. But if they're controlling more than half of the market right now, and they go out of business, it's not going to get any better all of a sudden. It's not. It's going to turn into... I don't even fucking know. There's so many possibilities, but all of them are bad. Well, 90% of them bad. There's one where High Dive rises up and becomes the glorious savior of anime, but that's an unlikely scenario. It's just history is likely to just repeat itself there. But if they go out of business, animation as a medium, the entire medium will plummet. It will be like the fucking depression for anime. And we have it pretty good right now. So if we have to deal with an asshole company like Crunchyroll, I would be happy to put up with that shit. At least I would have been back when they offered a free streaming service. But now it's paid only with a user interface that keeps getting worse. They keep removing fan favorite features like the comment section and the chat section. I think they might have removed no, they didn't do that, but they didn't do that quite yet. But they're probably going to get rid of negative review systems, kind of like YouTube did. I say 4 or 5 years down the line. They're going to keep getting worse. I don't know what I'd say is the ideal outcome right now, but them going bankrupt, until there's a suitable replacement in terms of size, I say they're a necessary evil. Kind of like Kingpin from Spider-Man.
And if there's other competition that comes in, I think that's just a good thing overall. That's a net positive. But
yes,
once
like
again,
that.
what I just said here, that brief thing, the rumor, that's a rumor. There is no official source I can give on that or anything like that. But that's at least what I've heard. So just like I said, take it however you view it. But I'll leave it at that. Overall, yeah, very crazy decision. How do you feel about this? Did you use this free version of Crunchyroll, this ad-supported Crunchyroll?
I did not.
Or are you not? Do you think Crunchyroll is going to add a new tier that will have ads associated with it?
In either 1 year or 3 years, one of the two. The cut content and adapted non-canon material ruining the story. They went that far? Wait. They killed High Dive? Okay, hold on. I'm going to copy link address here. First, I want to cover all manga is getting censored by official company. Then I want to talk about the return of my favorite content creator, Core of Midas. And then we're going to watch the fuck out of this. 90% because it has Mikoto Misaka on the cover and I fucking love Railgun. But also because I'm curious on what the hell that's about. Anyways, let's continue.
Notice in the comments below. But I love you guys. Be safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out. Censorship is getting out of hand.
Oh my! That is a strong visual to put alongside that kind of a statement. I respect it.
I didn't edit this, by the way. This is real. This is...
Oh, wait,
This is actually a real panel. The black boxes and everything on this panel covering Ruka, this is actually legit. This is what an official company that is licensing the series is doing to the manga. And I cross-checked the English release, the official English release, with the Japanese RAWs, and these black boxes are non-existent.
There are no words to describe the confusion and irritation I'm feeling right now. My face could say it all. But unfortunately, I do not have one. So all I will say right now is, let's play the corporate brain rot game. Let's see, we got nope, nope, nope. Culturally, yes, but that's not quite right. Nope. This will probably come into play in the future, but not right now. Number 16, incapable of admitting wrongdoings and mistakes. There's nope, not that. Convenience is a better truth than reality. That's kind of just the self-delusion of the staff, not really applying to the business model. That's not that one quite yet. Pretending to care is more important than actually caring. Unfortunately, they care a little too fucking much. Criminal activity is okay. I wish this was criminal activity. Unfortunately, it is quite real. Yes, it is quite the bullshit right here, Poppy. Where is it? Come on. I know it's here. I know it's here. Discrimination against hot women, yes, but that also isn't quite right. The customer is always stupid. Okay, I'm gonna be here forever if I have to scroll through all 612 slides. So we're gonna go with the customer is always stupid.
They do not exist in the Japanese version. They are completely gone. You wouldn't even know the chapter got censored. But if you go to read it legally in other countries, for instance, let's say in the West, you're greeted with this. And you're probably wondering, which company is responsible for this?
I am desperately wondering.
K-Manga. Now, this is not the first time.
Wait. Who the fuck is K-Manga?
That they have censored manga. I have actually talked about their censorship about a year or so ago, but this is really the first time I have personally encountered this rampant amount of censorship from their company, especially when you look at previous chapters of Rent a Girlfriend, like last chapter, for instance, that definitely, if this is getting censored, why didn't that get censored? And
because they decided to they probably got somebody new on the staff between that release of the previous chapter and this one, and the new staff member. Well, like I said earlier, the problem is that they care a little too much. They are also succumb to number 20, opinions are not allowed to exist. Although, again, that's just personal brain rot, not corporate brain rot. Although it is quite hilariously entirely possible that they just changed their minds completely as a company. But I think it's just a new staff member taking their power a little too seriously.
I'm just like, there is clearly whoever is in charge of this is very selective.
Also, is it bad that even though I've never watched or read Rent a Girlfriend, I instantly knew that this was Rent a Girlfriend? Is that bad? I feel like that's bad.
With what they want to censor, but their actual, terms or how they censor content is very loose. Like, they just pick and choose what chapter or what series they want to censor on a given week. Like, for instance, a chapter comes around, and they're like, you know what? We'll let this slide. Next chapter...
No, if it's changing on a bi-weekly basis and a bi-series basis, then that entirely lends credit to my theory that it is either one or a select group of staff members within the studio overexerting their power, and no management oversight that actually gives a fuck. That lends massive credence to my theory.
It comes around that has probably less content with it, less risque content, and they're like, you know what? We gotta censor this and make it basically an entire chapter of black boxes. This is completely unacceptable, and I would like to remind everybody, this is not a pirated version of Rent a Girl.
Why would a pirated version care? This is the kind of bullshit you should expect from companies. I remember when I watched a redo of Healer, literally 90% of the screen was glared out during one of the scenes in that show. I was quite irritated. I had to pirate the show that I was already pirating on because they copied it from I don't fucking know what website, but they did. Oh god, yeah.
Girlfriend. This is a real legal reading version of Rent a Girlfriend. If you were to pay for a service to read this series, you would be greeted with this. And I want to.
But is it on the physical copy? Because if it was on the physical version, that would be fucking crazy. That would be that would blow my mind in the most cursed but hilarious way possible. I would turn into fucking Asmongold with how I geek out about how third world the world is getting. Like, that would be... Can you imagine the uproar? Like, this right now is like, what is it, like a small problem? 52,000 people are upset about this? I'd say that's a roughly accurate number. But imagine if you went to the store and you bought a $28 copy of this, and you turn to the front page, and this is what you got. There'd be lawsuits up the ass.
Also reiterate this. This is not just a Rent-A-Girlfriend problem. This is what K-Manga likes to do with a lot of their manga on their site. They do this continuously. They black box certain panels and completely hide things, and I'm just like, why even license a manga or even get the rights?
So that they can say that they have the manga. You don't understand is that, actually, this actually does perfectly fit one of the... Yeah, this is perfectly fits the narrative of a corporate brain rot symptom. Where is it? No. Okay, so it's on the earlier end. Public image, no. Listening and adhering to people not in your industry. Very close, but not quite. No criticism, close. Catering to the 1%. Actually, this does apply. So I'll touch on that briefly while I continue looking. Catering to the 1%. Basically, where you're trying to appeal to the small demographic that doesn't pay attention to your product. There's a lot of people who get upset about crap like this. And they want to keep those people happy. They want them to come in and watch this or read this. But the problem is these people Rent a Girlfriend has been out for a long, long time. So people have already made up their minds about the series. In fact, the manga already ended like forever, months ago? And this is just a continuation of it, if I'm given to understand. Yes, it is incredibly disrespectful to the artists. It is. Somebody worked really hard on that artwork. Like, this is really fucking good art. I was meaning to mention that somewhere, but yeah. Anyways, those people aren't going to read this. But they don't care. They think that, oh, hey, we're going to do it anyways. Anyways, so we're going to go with number 11, attaching your brand's identity to causes you don't actually support. Which is, they apparently disagree with this manga on some level. I mean, they don't agree with NSFW artwork or manga, but they're still buying and selling it to you, just heavily watered down and altered. And the reason they're doing that is they want to say that, yes, we have Rent a Girlfriend. Come watch us. Come subscribe to us. But then you don't get Rent a Girlfriend. You get 40% of Rent a Girlfriend.
To a series if you're gonna do something like this, because there's a lot of ways to look at this. First off, it's disrespectful to the consumer, because if you're paying for a product, you should get the full product instead of like 80 to 50% of the product. You expect the full meal, the full product laid on the table before you, not half of it because the chef or whoever's curating the food decided, oh, everything needs to bend to their worldview. If it doesn't bend to the worldview, it needs to be instantly censored. And I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, there's never been a better indicator to advocate for piracy for manga than this right here. Like, I'm just gonna say it like it is. I'm gonna be completely real, okay? I keep it real here, and this definitely causes me not to get sponsorships and work with official companies, but I keep it real here. I will never support an actual company that is this blatant and obvious with their censorship. Why pay like a subscription service or manga service or whatever, or any service, to blatantly censor something like this and to basically say you as an adult are not allowed to look at this. You're not allowed to look at legal content because whoever is in charge of this manga licensing or whatever feels like it's going to offend a lot of people, so you cannot see it. And I'm just like, I looked at the
Yeah, like,
Rawls. I looked at the Rawls of the chapter. Yeah, there is some fan service and different things that go on within it. That's explicit. I'm not going to act like
Yeah.
there isn't. But it doesn't show anything, technically. It doesn't. It does not show anything.
well, that's good. Also, like, the name of the manga is Rent a Girlfriend. The audience is in the name. The people that would give this a try are people who would not care about her in a bikini.
It's implied, but it doesn't show anything. And the fact that they went this hard in the paint to paint the entire chapter pretty much with black boxes is ridiculous. There needs to be more people commenting on this, and I feel like a lot of people are letting this slide because it's Rent a Girlfriend. Because it's Rent a Girlfriend, people are just not caring about it, or they don't want to talk about it. But this is very much what I have been talking about. You can't pick and choose what you want censored or not. Because if you allow something to be censored and think that it's never going to come back and hit you, you're dead wrong. Censorship hits everybody. And if it can happen to Rent a Girlfriend for something like this within a chapter, this can happen to, for instance, My Dress Up Darling. Easily.
Oh no. Nobody is going to touch My Dress Up Darling. Right? Nobody's going to touch that. Right?
100% could happen to My Dress Up Darling or other
God damn it.
manga on their platform. What I'm trying to say here is that this right here is bad. K-Manga gave us an absolute pile of dog shit that actually they should feel ashamed for. Nobody should be paying for this service for blatant censorship. This is disrespectful to the consumer. This is disrespectful to the artist. This is disrespectful to the offer. And once again, even if you dislike Rent a Girlfriend, you don't like anything about Rent a Girlfriend, you don't like the offer or whatever,
Do your fucking job. Literally, all you had to do was look at it, digitize it, check that there was no problems, and there is no problems with her. She is fine as fuck. And then press upload. All you had to do. You guys have, the people running these manga websites have some of the easiest jobs in the world. In fact, I went to read a manga earlier. Just the other day online. And for some reason, not more than half of the panels were gone. And I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. Like, seriously? What is wrong with you guys? And so I went, okay, fine. I guess I just won't read this one. I'll look up another one. And with that one, a third of those panels were gone. I went to another one. All of the panels on that one were gone. How do you fuck up that badly? And then you have companies like this who, when the panels do fucking work, they don't. Why? You guys have the simplest job in the world. Okay, no problems here. Okay, nothing that could get us through. Okay, the images actually fucking exist. Okay, upload. And then if somebody says, hey, there's a problem, you come back, you read it, and you determine whether or not they were lying, which should take 2 minutes.
it doesn't change the fact.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. I think this stems from boredom. Yeah, it does. If they were overworked, no fucking way any of these people... This website might actually need layoffs for better performance. If they were more overworked, this shit wouldn't happen because they would have less time on their hands to waste on this kind of crap. I'm normally not one to advocate for layoffs, but I think that might actually solve the problem here, unironically.
is that you don't do this to someone's art. And I am very curious if the offer, if Japan is even aware of this. I mean, you want to know why I'm curious? Because I have seen where there is a lot of people within Japan that have become shocked to find out what is done to their anime or manga when it is taken overseas. I mean, recently there was a whole controversy with AI dubs, and Kadokawa went on record literally yesterday saying they were completely unaware of what Amazon was doing with their AI dubbing for like No Game No Life and Banana Fish, which
That has to violate the terms of sale there in some form or another. If you're going to buy the rights to a product and then not tell them that you're going to be altering said product without their permission, that has to violate something. Anything. Kadokawa, we are not on the best of terms, but I'm begging you to sue Amazon. Please. I will pay for the lawyers. No, I won't. No fucking way. But if I could, I would.
really indicates that a lot of these Japanese companies are not clued in on what these Western companies are doing with censorship or going out of their way to change things in.
Because they trust these Western companies. These Japanese companies understand how business works. But the problem is these Western companies don't. They don't know the first thing about business. All they know is profit maximization and pandering. And maybe a little bit of investing. But actually running a functional business that operates as a business, not as an exploitative machine, they don't understand it. All they're good at is maximizing profits, and sometimes they even fucking suck at that. Like, good example would be Google. Now, this is a conspiracy theory. Truly, I have no evidence of this. But when I was coming up with an idea to compete with a new streaming service to compete with YouTube, I wrote down all the ideas of how it would work, all the features I would offer to make it a better service than YouTube, and all the features I could use to increase monetization value so that I could afford to compete with YouTube. Because you need a lot of fucking money. YouTube is massive. So I needed a lot of different ways to maximize profits, to increase earnings, to new ways I could monetize that YouTube currently wasn't. And I wrote all that on a Google document. And over the next 12 to 14 months, every single idea I had for maximizing profit had all of a sudden been added to YouTube. And not a single one that improved user interface, user experience, creator experience, because I had a lot of ideas for those two to incentivize them to switch over or at least go to the effort of dual posting on both of the websites. Nope. I had over 30 different ideas on ways to change YouTube or do YouTube differently and better for both parties, for the consumer, for the creator, and for the website. And every single one, not a single one was missed, that was supposed to be for increasing monetization was taken. And I cannot see that being a coincidence that Google owns YouTube. I wrote the ideas down on a Google document, and out of nowhere, those ideas those changes started popping up out of the blue. But again, that's just a conspiracy theory, and an excuse for me to complain about Google and YouTube.
Not even inform the Japanese companies. It's really disrespectful, and this is a very good case for that. Like, it is extremely disrespectful, and there is no business even reading this series legally if it's going to look like this. Just straight up. Now, there is a few other things I do want to say before I wrap this up. I strictly want to talk about this chapter. Chapter 404, I'm going to be honest with you, chaos. It is pure chaos, and it is shocking what actually happened, and I feel like a lot of people that are talking about the chapter, not talking about the censorship, they're not seeing the bigger point of view of what really happened. A lot of people are going to be quick to call Kazuya pathetic, and yeah, he's still pathetic, but what Ruka did in the chapter, she is 100% at fault. And even if we didn't want to say 100%, I think she's not 98, 99% at fault. But
yeah, no, I'm gonna infer from context what happened from what I've seen. Like I saw a couple of panels posted onto YouTube or Facebook a week or so ago, and from this and from the context of what he's talking about, I'm going to infer what happened. And from what I'm thinking, probably happened, and how he's saying like, oh, how people are going to say Kawase was pathetic. I'm guessing he rejected her, and that she probably tried to force herself on him in some way or another. I'm guessing that's what happened. And if that is what happened, I would say she is in the wrong. But I also understand where all the guys who desperately want Kawase to be happy, or at least want her, and I can see why they'd want her. Look at her. I can see why they'd be upset and annoyed. I do. She's wrong, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean. What was I saying? Sorry, yeah.
Because what she did to Kazuya, she SA'd him. Yeah, she straight up SA'd.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah, that did happen. Yeah, no, not good thing for her to do. Not at all.
She did. 100%, that's what she did in this chapter. Like, yeah, that's exactly what happened here. She straight up did that. Like, he said no multiple times. He didn't want that. He didn't want to do it. He had his feelings and thoughts for Chizuru. And throughout the chapter, if you look at actually the raws of it, he's passed out majority of the chapter because he just doesn't know what to do. Like he blanks out. His mind goes blank because he just doesn't know how to process what's happening. And regardless if you want to look at that as comedic or not, the point still stands is he did blatantly say already within like last chapter and other chapters, no, he does not want to be with Ruka. He wants to be with Chizuru. And even if you like Ruka and you hate Kazuya or you dislike Chizuru, the point is that he made an official statement. He made a line saying no. She didn't actually accept that. She disregarded his feelings and she continued to push him to the point to where we saw what happened in this chapter. Crazy stuff, like actually legitimately crazy. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Ruka inherently as a person within the series, she's the worst person now. Like she is strictly way worse than Chizuru and Mami put together.
Okay, well I don't know anything about Mami, so I'm not gonna comment on that, but from what I've heard about Chizuru, it's kind of a tough call because these are two very, very different levels of bad. Two incredibly, deeply different levels of bad with different scales and consequences. And I'm having a hard time evaluating, like, really worse than Chizuru? Again, I haven't read or watched it, but I've heard stuff. I've definitely heard more than enough of some of the shit that's gone down there. But as a whole, I guess I'd have to agree with him. Yeah, Ruka might be worse. Is probably worse. I might read the manga now just to get context so I can make a definitive statement on it. But if we're talking about basic human rights and respecting of people's feelings, definitely and which should be the prioritized fundamental, yeah, Ruka would probably be worse. Why am I talking about this? We're supposed to be talking corporate brain rot.
Like completely, and Kazuya. Like any problems you have with those characters is nothing in comparison to what Ruka just did to this man. She SA'd Kazuya. Yeah, it's not okay. Like it's legitimately not. I hope she faces a lot of repercussions for this. I hope that this causes Kazuya to completely break it off with her and be done with her, because this is not what you do, and what she did was completely crossing the line. Completely.
Yes, you're right.
Like, she needs to face repercussions for this. But I'll leave it at that, though. Just wanted to strictly talk about the censorship, but also comment a little bit on the chapter. But I love you guys.
Oh, hey, it's right here again. Okay, I'm just going to double check that we have that confirmed. Good video. I like Chibi. He does good work. Okay, now, my favorite streamer is returning.
The other day...
And I've been waiting to watch this for a long, long time. And now I'm ready to watch it. And I want to watch it with all of you guys. So we're going to do that now.
Somebody said my voice sounds creamable. I want to tell you guys that I think that is the highest compliment. Thank you. Please. Cream me.
Welcome to Core of Midas, where subscribing to her probably won't be the biggest mistake of your life, but it'll certainly be in your top 5. A simple vent channel that a burnt-out creative made with absolutely no intent on streaming whatsoever. Whoops. It's fine, just call them broadcasts. And then fuck up by calling them streams 5 times anyways.
A gummy stream broadcast. I can convince her by the end of stream that it's a good idea to return.
Midas is awesome.
Broadcast again.
Watch as she makes mostly variety content, with the exception being she'll never do gaming stream.
Yeah.
Whoops. Whoops! Well, fine. If we're going to go this direction, we might as well embrace it. Watch as she does daily gaming broadcasts for her members. Whoops! Seriously, the only thing consistent about this woman is how single she is. But referring to her resume, that does kind of check out.
Yeah, she has talked about before on how she really wants to be in a relationship. She wants to get married. She wants to have kids, but she doesn't because she has bipolar disorder and she doesn't want to end up hurting the people that she loves or cares about. And that's why she distances herself away from just about everybody. And unironically, that makes me want her more. I do. Because that shows just a deep level of self-control and compassion that I cannot help but respect massively. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I respect her so much. She's funny, she's interesting, always has insightful commentary to say, and just is an overall really decent person from everything I've said and heard. Some of the stuff I've heard her say has made me want to blow my brains out, but she's still an amazing woman nonetheless. And I have all the respect in the world for her.
Watch in horror as you realize.
This is still on my watch later list. I need to watch that. So fucking crazy.
That this video is something that she actually sat down to write, record, edit, and upload. Watch in awe as she doxes herself on Chris Chan's official website. Watch her get 40k subscribers in the span of a year and still not get nominated for Rising Star.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. That she deserves so much more approval than she gets. She does.
It's okay, bros. We'll get them next year. Watch as she sells shoes. Why? I'll fucking know. Watch as she makes music that's actually pretty damn good, all things considered.
Her music goes so fucking hard. It is insane how good her music videos are. I love them. I listened to Touch Tone Telephone over 100 times last year.
It sure would be a shame if she, like, I don't know, just like hypothetically speaking, paid someone money to master a project for her, just to watch them work on literally everything else for the next 3 months instead of working on the thing that they got paid money to master. Gee, that sure would be a woozy. That sure would suck. Just the idea of the sheer fucking audacity! And watch an intriguing curiosity as to how much
I think this guy has a love-hate relationship with Midas.
disposable income her fans have to be able to afford to buy commissions, get plushies, buy merch, and spend fucking $4,063.80.
I respect how he felt the need to comment every single cent. And you know what? I would pay that much for her book. I said it. I need to read that full fucking book. She wrote a book when she was in middle school or something like that. Over summer vacation. In like 2 weeks or something like that. She wrote an entire fucking novel. And she read the first couple of chapters out loud with her friends as a reward for a subathon. And I need that fucking novel. That thing is such an abomination that it became a masterpiece. That would instantly become her most well-sold merchandise ever if she sold that. Like, no, seriously, $4,000 just for the rights to publish and sell that? I would add a zero onto that.
On a random mentally ill Canadian woman.
The random mentally ill Canadian woman. How dare you?
Who the fuck bought her 4 bagpipes? Core of Midas. Come for the political commentary. Stay because of the mental sickness.
That is a great video. Hold on a second. I want to share that with everybody. Okay. We got this. Here we go. Amazing video. And also, definitely, please check out Core of Midas. She is the best. I want to check the comments on this. I feel called out. By the way, I forgot to mention one of the great attributes, Gatmoe. Yes. The unholy algorithm. Wait a second. This isn't the Core of Midas channel. I watch for the unfolding plot. I'm funny because it's true. As a fun fact, the day I became a member of Midas' channel was the same day she lost her voice and stopped doing live broadcasts for members. Start watching Midas around 2K subs, and it's crazy how fast she grew from being pissed off. Yeah. I have her shirt. I wore that to NA Rabo to promote and advertise her. She hasn't streamed in months, but she has still gained 2,000 subscribers. Why? Because we will never stop spreading the good word. Just like I will never stop spreading the good word of corporate brain rot. Please, for the love of God, somebody fucking watch that. I spent 500 hours. Okay, now that we're done that, she has +1 fans. I'm very happy that you can join the cult or the syndicate. That's what her fan base is called. Oh wait, my bad. That's the wrong channel link. Happy to hear it, Poppy. And here for everybody is the watch party for her great return happening on the 10th, so 2 days from now. Now, here's the actual link that we want. Please work. Yes! Okay, the last video for the night.
Anime streaming platforms HIDIVE and Crunchyroll joined Streaming Alliance with 13 other specialty platforms. This is horrendous news, like terrible news. There's no way to spin this.
Are you fucking kidding me, YouTube? What is wrong with you? Why do you keep... Does spacebar work at least? Nope, spacebar still doesn't work either, so... What is... Okay.
In a positive light, this is marking basically the end of HIDIVE. Because HIDIVE has been bleeding anime.
Wait, hold on. Crunchyroll uploads broken file for the new Spy Family episode. Meaning that they bought and then redistributed the video file or an episode of Spy Family that didn't fucking work. I rewind to show you in greater detail, but I can't.
As of late, they have been bleeding a lot of series to Crunchyroll, like for instance Oshinoko, and they have clearly not been doing so hot because their competitor is Crunchyroll, which at this point owns basically a monopoly on anime in the West.
This is brand new, 5 hours ago. I didn't realize. Okay,
so I've talked about this over and over again, so I'm not going to get back into that. The point of the matter is that Crunchyroll has been eating away their competition, basically pushing them out of the industry.
Crunchyroll uploads broken file for Spy Family. They distributed a version of Spy Family that didn't fucking work.
Or devouring them by basically buying them out. For instance, what happened to either Funimation, what happened to Right Stuff, and I see that eventually they're going to set their sights on Viz Media. But it seems like at this point, HIDIVE is at a kind of a crossroad. They either succumb to Crunchyroll, for instance, get bought out by them, or Sony in this case, or they join an alliance with them and slowly push off their death for a few years. And that more or less is what it seems like is going on here, that this is HIDIVE's last-ditch effort to try to get out of the red and try to have some form of, like, income and try to fight back against Crunchyroll, but they realize that they can't fully fight back, so they're like, I guess let's just be buddy-buddy with them, and maybe we could get some series from them and have, you know, simulcasted releases, for instance.
That's not gonna work. No, I'm sorry, it's not gonna work. If you surrender to them now, they will cannibalize you. Like, Microsoft did to Skype.
It's whatever release on Crunchyroll might come to HIDIVE. Maybe that's what they're thinking, but this is bad because the fact that they're doing a streaming alliance with Crunchyroll is something that happened kind of similar to Funimation. For those that don't know, a while back, it was years ago, back in like 2017, maybe 2016, it was a long time ago, okay? Don't quote me on the exact year, but it was way before 2019. Crunchyroll and Funimation worked together. They had an alliance where they would release series on each other's platform, and it was, at that time, it seemed very beneficial. But it obviously was kind of sinister when you really think about it, where it was like one company was going to buy out the other. And eventually, that's what exactly happened. You had Crunchyroll take over Funimation, everything from Funimation was brought over into Crunchyroll, they could soon Funimation. And I feel like that's what this is leading to. It's leading to HIDIVE being devoured by Crunchyroll, and it's just going to be the end for any competition, because I want to state this because I think this is very important context for the video. Crunchyroll,
if Crunchyroll is smart, they will leave HIDIVE alive. They'll give it just enough food to survive, so that they can avoid the monopoly, all the monopoly suits that will happen if they take all the actions that they want to keep doing, like we discussed earlier. If they want to keep behaving like that, they need HIDIVE alive. So, if they're smart, they'll do that. However, from what I've seen, Crunchyroll is stupid. So they will eat HIDIVE, and then they'll have to be fighting monopoly regulations for the rest of their life if the government does what it's supposed to fucking do, which is quite literally a coin toss.
Does not have any direct competitors besides HIDIVE. Like, yes, you could argue Disney, Hulu, and Amazon to an extent, and sometimes Netflix, but they're not strictly anime platforms. Crunchyroll is an anime streaming service with anime merchandise. HIDIVE is as well. There is no other streaming service that is a competitor to Crunchyroll besides HIDIVE. And if HIDIVE falls, there's no competition. It's over.
And then the monopoly regulations ensue.
It's completely over. Crunchyroll has a 100% monopoly, at least on the actual main focus of anime streaming services. There is no direct competition at that point. So what this basically means is that they would have a monopoly. We already knew this, but they would definitely cement the fact that they would have a monopoly. But before we go any further, we need to read this article. And the reason why it's important to talk about this article is because it's not just the fact that HIDIVE and Crunchyroll and a few other specialty streaming services are teaming up with a streaming alliance, but they do some corpo speak that basically indicates that they want to...
Corpo speak, huh? Well, then that would fall under... Where is it? Poppy's favorite part of the corporate brain rot stream. Where is it? Come on. Oh yeah, it was number 15, wasn't it? Here it is. Yep, right here. Relying on corporate or HR speak to talk to the employees and the public. Well, let's take a look at this. Corpo speak.
To regulate and push certain agenda within their streaming platforms.
Provide a unique collective voice for specialized services in the streaming industry. The coalition will work to ensure a more equitable regulatory environment where members have a strong collective voice in global regulatory and policy debates. Wow, that was a whole lot of fucking nothing. Provide a unique collective voice for specialized services. What do you mean a collective voice? And what do you mean specialized services? You are a platform for people to watch content on. Are you good? Oh no, are they going to do the AI dubbing thing from Amazon? Probably not. They don't have nearly enough power to do that. And unique collective voice. You guys shouldn't be fucking talking. Rest on your laurels. This coalition will work to ensure a more equitable regulatory environment where members have a strong collective voice in global regulatory and policy debates. More fucking nothing. Other than more regulations, aka censorship. And policy debates, aka bureaucracy is king. And equitable regulatory. We are going to find more ways to monetize and censor everything through bureaucracy and overcharging you guys up the ass. There you go. I just translated all that for you.
Last month, 15 specialty streaming services, including the anime services HIDIVE and Crunchyroll, announced the formation of the Specialty Streaming Advocacy Coalition Beyond Mainstream, a global streaming alliance. Per its media release, Beyond Mainstream aims to provide a unique, collective voice for specialized services and the streaming industry. The coalition will work to ensure a more equitable regulatory environment where members have a strong collective voice in the global regulatory and policy debates. And so that's a lot of corpo speak for pretty much censorship, or pushing certain prices and subscription prices.
I'm glad he was able to see through that too. I'm very happy to see that.
And let me explain why I'm saying that. First off, the fact that they're talking about policy debates, regulatory, global regulatory, and just regulations and stuff like that, it implies that if one company wants to, say, put their prices for $15 for their streaming service, all the other companies will follow suit around the exact same price, pretty much.
Oh my god, I was right! Oh my god, I was so much more right than I thought I was. Earlier, I was discussing how monopolies now behave like gas companies. How in the past, gas companies kept lowering their prices to try and compete with each other, and how that was costing them a lot of money. So they all got together and started margining all their prices within the same area. So they didn't have to do that anymore. They were behaving like a mafia or a organized crime mafia, where all a bunch of different gangs get together and yeah. But he's right. I didn't realize that my allegory would actually come true within the same 3 hours. I'm always right, even when I don't know I'm right. I'm right.
Pricing out anyone else within the industry where they can't really compete back, because if they work together as an alliance, they're pretty much putting the certain amount of limit or money that they all can do, and basically they're not one-upping each other, downing each other. They're more or less working together to kind of force out anyone else in the industry that's not working with them outside of their field.
Yep, it's a collective monopoly, not a singular monopoly, like I said earlier. They are happy to keep their competitions around so that monopoly regulations no longer apply to them. As I've been saying all night, that's what they want. And surprisingly, I didn't expect Crunchyroll to get involved in that. Especially with a bunch of websites I've literally never heard of. Maybe it's trying to become like the new dawn of the anime world.
It definitely feels kind of like a monopoly and malicious in a way. I don't know exactly what you would call this, but it kind of feels like a legal mafia. It shouldn't be legal, maybe it's not, but even if these companies are...
Actually, I think it is illegal. I think this might count as collusion. Yeah, I think it's collusion.
Not, let's say, owned by one company, like Sony owns them all or something, or Microsoft or whatever. The point is that these companies are working together to probably do the exact same policies. Well, they are. They admitted that. The exact same policies and agenda, right?
Yeah, it's a crime. Now, whether or not the bureaucracy of the American legal system would let this be classified as a crime, I'm not certain. But it sounds a lot like collusion to me.
regulatory environment and everything, it pretty much implies that they will all kind of do the exact same thing, the exact same subtitles or whatever, how they release things, how they'll censor things, it will all be the same. So if you go to one service expecting it to be different from, let's say, Crunchyroll, like for instance, you want to go to High Dive because you don't like Crunchyroll's policies and how they handle things, you're going to get the exact same thing from High Dive because of this alliance. This is just not good. It sounds like it might be good, but in reality, it's definitely not good. These companies are definitely working together to kind of get more of a grip on the market, and High Dive in
No, Crunchyroll is doing that to get more of a grip on the market. These people are under threat of death if they don't join the alliance, so called. They don't stand a chance against Crunchyroll, so when Crunchyroll said, "Hey, work for me," we'll call it working together, but work for me. That's how that conversation went.
general, I see why they're doing this, because they're bleeding money, they're bleeding series, they need to do something, but it's more or less them slowing their death instead of just letting it happen.
Exactly.
Because that's exactly what this looks like. But this is bad. Like, this is really bad news. We knew it was going to happen. Like, I sensed High Dive was not going to last much longer with all the bad news that keeps coming out about them. But this really is like the icing on the cake, showcasing that it's just the end. Like, I honestly give them at max 2 years, and then something's going to happen. Either something massive is going to shift with High Dive, or they're going to announce a complete joint merger with Crunchyroll to some degree. For instance, they're going to allow series from High Dive to be on Crunchyroll and vice versa, and eventually High Dive is just going to be consumed by Crunchyroll. I see something like that happening, because at the end of the day, Crunchyroll, even though they own a monopoly on anime, it's still a very niche field in comparison to everything else within the industry, especially in movies and entertainment. Like, everything going on with, like, Warner Brothers right now. When it comes to Warner Brothers and Paramount and Netflix, those are big head honchos, big mega corporations pretty much competing over massive titles. But
Not anymore. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers. Because we live in hell. And we can't have anything good in this world anymore. All thanks to maximizing shareholder value. Fuck capitalism. I love capitalism. I love money. I love making money. I love the idea of capitalism. I don't like what it's become today. I don't. I really, 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 really hate it. And while I'm definitely not going to say let's switch over to communism or fascism or whatever else, I am allowed to be unhappy, and I will say that I'm unhappy. Simple as that. It was one thing when we had bad economies, but now that it's actively seeking to destroy and ruin anything and everything that we hold dear. Culture no longer exists. Also known as a culture is a dollar sign, especially if you don't understand it. Corporate brain rot number 42. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of all of this negativity. I just want to make fun anime reviews videos. Ugh, I gotta finish that VTuber Legend review.
Yes, they might own a monopoly on anime, but it is nothing in comparison to, let's say, something like Netflix or Paramount and Warner Brothers. That's why a lot of people are unaware of the situation that's been building over the years. But I wouldn't leave it at that. I want to talk about this because this news graced my feed, and I was just like, man. It's what I expected. I called it years ago, but here we are. So, anyways, I'll leave it at that. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. Helps me out a lot. I love you guys. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.
And Regnoi out too. I'm gonna wrap everything up and call it a night here. Thank you everyone for tuning in, especially Poppy. Always happy to have you in chat. And